Radio.
Yep.
POJ show. It's coming.
Here we go.
Hey guys, Saturday night, we're getting ready to go live, everybody. Let's do it. I'm gonna put my headphones on.
Alright, here we go.
My camera's focused. Just good evening and welcome to the Poetry Justice Show. It's Jackie Ray Phillips here on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Here on the Poetry Justice Show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity, ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying, ladies and gentlemen, those are the sultry sounds of my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. And I always give a very special shout out to Mr. Kevin Nash because if it wasn't for his brainchild here being the owner of this proprietorship and YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net, and if it were not for Kevin and his dream, it would be impossible for me to do what I so love to do here on Saturday nights, guys. Yay! And then I'm going to give a very special shout out to my sister, Miss Lori G, aka the Benefactor. How are you tonight, Lori G? I'm doing good, Susie. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give a very special shout out to some very more of our sponsorship. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go out to G Babies Catering, ladies and gentlemen. That's G Babies LLC. And I want you to reach out to my nephew, Chef Mac. That's Chef Macadio, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to check him out. Now that things are lighting up with COVID and the vaccines, hit him up. Okay, hit him up, guy, on IG, Chef Mac. Ladies and gentlemen, and then I'd like to give a very special shout out to who we call here the Man of Steel on the Poetry of Justice show. Guys, I just want to give a shout out to WMPJ Steelworks, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for being such an awesome sponsorship here on the show. And then, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most recent projects, a very special shout out to APS Muscle Cars, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you so much, Rashid. Now, APS Muscle Cars, guys, we're talking about engine rebuilds, vehicle storage, vehicle restorations. You may have some low riders, you may have some Monte Carlos, you may have some anything that you may want to either store or redo. I want you to check him out. His name is Memo, ladies and gentlemen. That is M-E-M-O. And you can catch us here every Saturday night on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net, ladies and gentlemen. That is us here in the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips. So happy Saturday night, guys. How are you tonight, everybody?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Happy Saturday. I'm doing wonderful.
Hey, Chris. Rashid, how you doing?
I'm doing well today. I'm doing well.
How's everybody doing in Facebook, bro? I guess everybody's doing good. YouTube, Facebook. And of course, Yikes Radio and Accelerated Radio. So, Lori G, how are you? How was your week, beautiful?
I had a busy week. Got a lot going on at work there. So it's always busy for us in March, April, and May. Trying to figure that out, how to slow that train down. But I made it through, guys. I made it to Saturday. Yay!
What about you, Chris? How you doing tonight, pretty lady?
Wonderful. Everything is everything.
Everything's good.
Work, school, hanging in there.
Right, I know. So what y'all want to do tonight? Y'all want to just jump in the pool, or we want to like skate around in the like shallow waters for a little bit, or we just gonna go full throttle? What do you guys want to do? Because Rashid has some interesting topics that we kind of want to talk about, and then I know Chris, you've got some things that you want to talk about tonight too. So, what are you thinking, Rashid?
Y'all probably watched the Harry and Meghan interview with Oprah,
Ah,
and how all that unraveled with the racism that is being very apparent and very blunt
hmm,
within the actual royalty that is in the United Kingdom. Um, I think we like mildly saw it during the days of Princess Diana, and now we're seeing it with Meghan. When she married Prince Harry, in which they basically, in their own words, that the royal family had concerns
hmm.
about the skin color and complexion
Okay.
of a little Archie when he was going to be born. They already said that he wasn't going to get the same treatment
Mhm.
as the others, and I don't think he was going to be given a honorary title.
That's not right. Lori G, did you get a chance to see that interview? Look at Chris. What about you, Chris? Did you have an opportunity? What, Chris? You're not even ready.
Just so ridiculous, it's just so ridiculous.
Okay.
I feel like, you know what, that's white people business.
Chris. No, you're not having it.
I knew what she was doing when she was getting into that, but because she
Okay.
has somewhat of black, which I never knew that she claimed black, at least the stories I read, she really didn't identify with black.
Mhm.
Her going there, I don't know, what was she thinking? Not even just about her, but that's what they do.
Hmm.
They meaning they who go outside of their own folks, and then when stuff go down, they come back to us so that we can help them out. Just okay. If she gets the help, I hope she gets the help, because she says some stuff that's really, thinking about killing yourself, that's really, you really need some help.
Right, right.
And that
That
could
was
ran her.
the whole catalyst for them leaving and coming to America is that, Harry realized that she was kind of living the same life that his mom, Princess Diana, was living in terms of needing support for mental health issues, and I think they call it like the institution, right?
Mhm.
That the institution wouldn't provide that. So I don't know. I think it's a big glimpse. I have to admit, I don't follow the royal family or anything, and I unfortunately didn't see the full interview. I've just been seeing like those excerpts of it, right?
Right.
But it was very jaw dropping, I think, when you heard. I think the part for me is that this is their flesh, right?
Right.
These are their, this is their family,
Mhm.
and yeah, it just goes to show you the power of racism, right?
Yeah.
Right, I think it also points out, it's not just the power of racism, it's the power of jealousy, because I believe it was Prince Williams, who is Harry's brother, his wife, I, I think her name was Pat, she, she just looks evil.
Oh, wow.
She, she just
look
looks
evil.
She just looks evil. And she was jealous because just like Princess Diana, when Meghan came into the family, people actually gravitated towards her. People actually, actually liked her
Mhm.
compared to Kat. Like, nobody really liked her because, truth be told, I looked at a picture of her and I swear, she just looked like she just had just Just the resting bitch face.
The RBF, the resting bee face, yeah. That can do it every time. What, Chris?
That I don't remember her name, but that the sister-in-law was not a really nice person, you know?
Right.
And, but it's interesting because Harry has always been that outlier, right? He's always been the one that has been traveling outside of the circle. Something's going on with Prince Harry, which, is interesting, I think, which is probably why he got connected with Meghan Markle, with her not being that fantasy storybook type of princess that maybe other royals were.
Right.
Right, and in Harry's words, it felt like a prison inside of those royal walls. He even said himself, he feels like his brother, Prince William, is also trapped,
That's why.
yeah, he felt like he's trapped there, and it's like, I feel like the relationship between them is a bit extreme, but he still very much cares for his family even through all of this drama that was brought up because of the color of a child's skin, which when you look at Archie, he doesn't even look African American. He looks, blue eyes, white privilege, just
Live Archie.
no. It's like
You're so stupid.
Chris says that is a part of that heritage, right? Takes us all the way back to slavery, where the slave master would come and impregnate the slave. And we had a whole legacy of mulatto people who were passing, you know,
That's so true.
that because they were so very fair, they did pass. So I can see that people were probably, if you're racist, you're worried about that, right? How is that baby gonna look? And the interesting part though, in their interview, they kind of protect the queen. They say it wasn't really her, that it was the people around her. So I guess there is an image or a PR person or, people who manage the palace and the individuals in the palace. So the question I wonder is, how much is that management with external individuals, or how much of it is the actual members of the family?
right, and that's an actual good question because if you look at the actual slavery, dates back, all the ways to our, colonial times when we actually, first arrived here, and we were first under British rule. So, you could say that the racism was started like a long time ago, during the British Empire, in which they basically stole America. I mean, that's basically what they did. Since actual Native Americans were here first, and they just came here and colonized. And Columbus claimed that he discovered America. You can't discover what was already there.
That's so true.
Right, but I believe there was the racism, and because the racism started there when we were brought here as slaves during the rise of the British Empire, and then even when we actually had the Declaration of Independence and the Revolution, there were still those traces of slavery, and it's like that type of of attitude is always passed down from generation to generation. It's passed down from person to person. It usually takes a multitude of people to actually break that cycle of just hate that has been perpetuated for for almost centuries now. When they say it takes a village, it literally takes a village to actually break the cycle of hate for the color of our skin for literally no reason.
It's not fair. We shouldn't have to feel that way.
No.
I don't know. What do you think, Lord?
But I also read that, you know, the Commonwealth, there's a lot of different countries of which, there is British influence that Britain used to rule. And in those countries are primarily people of color. And that this whole interview and the inquiry about the skin color of Archie has started, protests amongst those Commonwealth nations.
Wow.
I've heard about that where in those countries that actually had allied themselves with Britain, they are starting to actually have a protest like in regards to what was actually discovered.
Right.
Of course, the actual palace, they're gonna have their PR. I think William and his wife already said that there's no racism here.
No way.
Here in Buckingham Palace, we don't, we observe that they obviously, they obviously exaggerated the truth about, what was going on,
Right.
and why, Harry was, quote unquote exiled, from the palace, and and basically ran away to America, which I think is pretty ironic when when you think about it. It's like when you run to America to escape the racism in the UK, in America, that's
No. One place you may not want to go.
They have majority of the land they stole. They have the majority of the land and they stole it all. So that's racism in its own self.
Right. Right.
So they're claiming to be this, they want to be so royalty, jealousy. They're jealous of us. That's why they want to claim, oh, we're royal, I don't know anything about those people over there, but I know that all the land they have, they stole it,
Yeah.
and the brother, didn't they have a picture of him with a Nazi sign on his arm?
Wow.
He ain't trapped.
Harry. That's not the brother, that's Harry, that's the one who went.
That's him.
It's him, when he was in college, I think.
Exactly.
You guys.
So what part of that till now, marrying her, I'm not.
And he speaks to that in the interview, and he says that it wasn't until he was able to see the world through Megan's eyes as a person of color that he was able to really understand and see the amount of white privilege he has
That he had.
and how that privilege is being exerted and affected by affected upon people of color.
I actually found the picture of it too. Okay.
Right.
Huh?
And you always surrounded yourself by the same things, right? So then you don't know anything beyond that. So if you're always surrounded by white privilege, you don't necessarily know you have privilege, right?
Right.
It's not until we take you out of that setting and put you in something different
That.
that you may resonate toward it.
Ah, was
Yeah,
that a
there
phase
it
he
is.
was
That's-
was that a phase he was going through? Or some sort of a
Actually, no.
film he was doing?
No, this was actually at a I believe at a Halloween party back in 2005.
Okay.
Basically, the royal family went into damage control of Prince Harry's choice of costume at a friend's fancy dress party. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's basically it. And this was on the Sun.
Well, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Sissy? Mm-hmm.
It went down his bloodline. So he's still, that's still in their family, like it affected us, our ancestral slavery affected us in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still here, it's still here and it's still happening. Just like on his side family, it's still there and it's still happening. He watched TV, he went to the service, he went to a party,
Right.
so he knew about other people.
Wow.
I don't see how they, I mean, the possibility that he was so shielded that he could not see nothing, but he got a Nazi costume on. How did he see that? But he don't see the other stuff. I don't get that. But
But that brings up a question, guys.
What's that?
My question for the table is, can people change?
Yes.
The level of awareness where you were once, anti-blackness, right? And now you've had an experience and you've learned more and now you're not.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It kind of.
Yeah, I think people can change, if they're willing to change, if they're actually willing to actually accept, that, that they actually did something wrong, if they're willing to actually accept, what they've done in the past, actually try to make amends for it and actually, and actually move forward and actually spread a message of positivity. I can see that, as a positive change, that people can actually change their ways and actually, move in a different direction.
I think so.
recognize they have a problem, like you said. If he recognized that his family has a problem, which he's not gonna do because he is a part of that family. So he's not gonna straight out say, yeah, my family did this.
You don't think so, Chris?
And then says that, he wants to he can't make it right just with his wife by marrying somebody black. She's
Right.
half black and didn't reclaim black.
Right. 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 What about?
She resonates to her mom. I don't think she claims her dad, and her dad is the one who's white. Her mom is black.
Oh yeah. Right.
And her mom was at the wedding. Her mom, I always see her with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at her history, she married a white, and if you look back at everybody she's dated, they were white.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So she gravitated toward who her daddy was.
Right. Right. Right.
But because
Right.
you date, that's a good question too. So because you date someone white or you marry someone white or someone outside of your race, does that mean you're denying your other heritage?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
One outside of my culture, that doesn't mean I'm denying, or I don't think that means I'm denying my heritage. What do you guys think?
No, I don't definitely think.
There's something definitely going on in your mind when you've done that. You're thinking about something other than, but that individual person who did, it's totally up to them and what they're thinking about. I have people in my family who are married to somebody outside of their race.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not knocking them for what they're doing, and they talk like they're black. But when the conversation comes up, when we're talking about racism or we're talking about white supremacists, they don't like to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Their person who they're with or what. But if you can't talk about something that not you per se are going through, but your people that look like you, then if you can't talk about it, or, well, I just think this is what I always hear. Well, each individual, it's up to them, they always say it's racism, but every individual person, they don't have to be that type of way,
Right.
like they're putting the blame on the person when they are being oppressed and they're haven't been made a way to afford to do what all they can for themselves, being locked in something and not really knowing how to get out of it.
Right. That's so true.
Step of enlightenment for Harry to sit down and simply have this interview, to talk about his family, you know, kind of candidly, to say that this was an issue that was prevalent in the palace. I mean, I think the alternative would be to just do more of the same, right? We're just gonna move away, or you're gonna pressure her to deal with it.
Right?
What do you think?
He's probably talking to his own folks because me, I really don't care. I just don't. Because it's like, what does that have to do with me? You talking about your people, they stole everything they have. That doesn't, what they're going through, he got to work that out. He got to work that out with his wife and his family. Like, we have our own issues. They wanna take everything to the media, like as if we supposed to say, oh, and fall into this, your story, like it's a fairy tale, and the prince have come, and I'm taking you out of my fairy tale because my family is tripping. You know, that don't really have nothing to do with me. My opinion is that don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
You know, that's media.
But I think, you know, and Jackie Fisher, who's one of our lovely followers, who's always here, she says, that yes, she thinks people can grow and change. And yes, she thinks it was a big step for Harry to take, toward that change. I think it was a big step too. I think, Chris, you say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean in totality, right? And for me, what I think it is kind of a place where the world is going to have to find some reckoning. Because as you look at the mortality rate and children being born, there's a significant number of biracial children that are being born, not just in this country, but in the world, right?
Right.
And so what happens with that place of, you know, you've got intersectionality that's happening centered around race. And so how do we reconcile that? Because that matter, you know what I'm saying? Does a person have to pick one identity over the other? Is that what we feel? Or do we need to develop a new way of thinking that's maybe centered around more humanness?
And not color.
Right. I think there's going to come a time in this world, if I'm alive to see it, you know, I'll be alive to see it, in which basically the majority becomes the minority, like where white people, like they're not going to be as common, you know, but there's going to be a lot more, you know, mixed cultures. There's going to be a lot of African American and Hispanics in the world compared to the Caucasian, you know, ethnicity.
Right.
There's going to come a time and place for that, but with regards to the royal family, there's definitely an actual issue in which they themselves have to resolve within each other. It's just that it's been brought to the public eye. Now Harry didn't actually name drop anybody. He didn't say specifically who said what, but it's just been brought to the world's attention. That's like this has been going on. This is definitely an issue that needs to be talked about, and just added to the pot of things that just that need to be addressed and that need to actually be reconciled. I think that's basically what the interview did. Was just bring light to the situation, add it to the pot of things that have basically been wrong with the world, and it's basically just going to be a drawing of basically what gets address first, and then what gets a solution first. Because the pot itself is it's a big pot.
Simmering, it's simmering, huh?
Yeah.
Where they were. So why I'm looking at this in my way is because I'm trying to see, not even really looking at it, but because everybody's talking about it, okay, you're not gonna say who said it, then why even bring it up? Or what are you trying to resolve? Are you trying to have the fight between your family over here? You know, I don't understand what's going on. You came out, you said what you said, so what you're doing, you didn't say who, even if they told us, oh, well, you know, the mama said that about the baby. Okay, well, what we gonna do? That's all we gonna do, like we doing now. What is that helping? What is it doing for them? I mean, what is happening? What actually is happening? Because they came out, so what's happening? We see it. I mean, racism is still going on today, and we've had so much stuff done, inclusion, we've had so much stuff done, but we still ain't got reparations.
Right.
So I'm trying to see what was the purpose, what was the agenda behind this, and what was the purpose? Okay, she had some mental issues going on, he wanted that to be brought out. Okay, but all that stuff they dropping, I don't understand.
Right.
Well, I think
Somebody can tell me.
is that you have to call, in order to get to, I know you're really big on reparations. In order to get to reparations, you have to call out and create an acknowledgement of racism. So I think whenever we can call out that act and we can bring it to that attention, that's really important, right?
Mhm.
And so what does this do? What does this expose? Well, it lets everybody know there are things that aren't right in this monarchy,
Right.
in this structure, in this establishment, right? And we can see that it's trickled down to the Commonwealth, these countries that Britain is governing, to determine whether or not they still want to be governed by a monarchy that hates them as
Right.
people of color, right? So I think in my opinion, I think the first step is exposure, right? You pull the cape off. And I think that was maybe a part of Harry's thinking, is that, yeah, I was over here in this place of unawareness, or maybe awareness. That part we don't know. But now I have to reconcile being a white man with a biracial child.
Right.
And how do I do that?
Right.
Maybe one step for him in doing that is to say, I've tried to evolve along my racial sensitivity, but the rest of my family has not.
So I have a question. So when you all look at that family, have you ever thought one time in your mind that they had racism? Just look at the whole. Did you ever think that you were racist?
I personally, I looked at their family. I mean, like I said, I don't follow the royals, but I was quite shocked when Harry picked Meghan Markle as a spouse. I mean, I think we talked about it at work, and we even kind of joked like, wow, we can't wait to see what that does for the monarchy, because we knew the mom's black, right? So I did not see them as a rainbow coalition group, no.
No, you didn't see them as that, but in your mind, because of the history, you knew that they were racist, that they had race, that they were a racist industry, is an industry. Because of what they have done, all the land they have, they stole. That's the first thing. We already know that they are who they are. So that's automatic. So because we already know that, what needs to be exposed? We already know they are who they are.
Yeah.
I think that perhaps, at least for Harry, he wants to change who he is, right? And that's where I mean, like, maybe how do you move from someone who wants to be an ally? And it's interesting as to whether or not the minority people will accept you as that ally, right? Which leads me to the next topic, I don't know, but which is kind of related, that's bubbling in the news, is this whole The Bachelor show. Do you guys
I
watch
don't know
that
about
or
the
follow
Bachelor
that?
show. No, tell me about it. Tell
Never
me
heard of
about
it.
it. You know about it, Rashid?
No, I don't. No.
The Bachelor show. Chucky says yes, he's heard about the Bachelor show.
Oh, Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was something else.
Oh.
What we're talking about here with Harry and Meghan, the host of the show, Chris Harrison, said insensitive racial remarks. So one of the young ladies on the show who got, I guess, down to the final rose. So we have to start with The Bachelor being the first black man bachelor in the franchise history, right? And one of the young ladies that's getting the final rose, photos emerged of her at a plantation party, right? With just a lot of other white girls at a plantation party.
What's the plantation?
And then
Plantation party.
what happens is,
We had to break that down.
they're like, that's not cool. She was dressed up at a plantation party. I think she was also seen in some,
You know how plantation.
like racist other photos. I don't know if it was Nazi photos or Ku Klux Klan photos, something like that. And he's interviewing one of the bachelorettes who was black, who was from another season. And he says to her, hey, is this plantation party, are you saying it's not a good look in 2018? But, but it was a good look in 2018, but now in 2021, it's not a good look. Meaning that back then in 2018, it was acceptable to have a plantation party. And now, because people are so sensitive about race, it's not acceptable. Blew Twitter up, it blew everything up about these comments, and they asked him to step down.
Okay, if you could break it all down for us, Lloyd, and let us know in detail what is a plantation party.
Now, for what I'm looking at photos over here, I got it on the other computer. I don't have it on the Zoom computer. I'll probably just actually pull it up on the Zoom computer so that we can actually have pictures of what a plantation party. But I think that the basics of a plantation party. This is a basic photo of a plantation party, so to speak. Basically, you think of basically a lot of white people dressed in in like frilly clothes from like back in the day, in like a frilly dress that's usually either like pink, blue, or like white. In like this type of fabric, and in which they basically come to this party, and either it's actually like a auction for slaves, or just a straight up party in which they have those that are actually
I see that. I see the images, but what is the full definition? Plantation party. I see this one, but I don't know if this is. I just want to know like a wording, like what is the definition?
actually
You know. Okay. So who's putting it on? Who's putting it on? Who's putting it on?
Yeah, but her name is Rachel Kirkconnell. Yes, this is her.
She's the one that was on the Bachelorette, or,
Yes, yes.
But they
Oh,
dress
okay.
in those Southern Belle kind of costumes, Gone with the Wind. Do you guys remember that show?
Yeah.
The film?
Yes.
Not sure. Okay, so I'm trying
Oh, it wasn't a good look in 2018 or in 2021 because me as a black woman, if I went to a plantation party, what would I be? What would I go at? Right?
I'm still so lost.
Housemaid. Well, that's the nice way to put it.
Okay, so let's just walk down the aisle here. So this is a party. This party is given by white people and the attendees are white people and the goal of this party was to sell slaves. I'm just that's just their name for it. It's like a oh, okay. I'm just I'm just trying to get ahead of it. Was that again, Lori? Oh, okay. So the issue is, oh boy, old girl right here went to one, and she should have.
Yep. And she was actually one of the finalists for the Bachelor, who was Matt James, who is this brother right here. This is Matt James. This was the actual Bachelor. She was the actual front runner to actually win the actual show.
Okay. So there you have that. What did he say? I'm so confused.
Would care that she went to a plantation party.
Wow.
Okay. Well, yeah, they didn't care then, and so now they kind of do, and so
Right, but in fact,
moving on, right?
Right, but that also comes back to when people dig up the past to actually come back and haunt you in the future because I'm like how because you've seen the whole idea of cancel culture of people bringing up issues that happened in the past that weren't really issues back then, but then they bring them back up now to basically try to cancel you and basically call you out for it now. Mm-hmm. But it's like but back then it was an issue, but now it's an issue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like say for example with the Pepe Le Pew being canceled off of Space Jam 2 because of his overall character, in which he was going after the cat, but they don't show the episode in which the cat was going after him and basically he was running for his life. But they always played the episodes in which he was actually chasing the cat, in which the cat was, for some reason in every episode just found a way to actually get stripes on her back and make it look like a skunk, and he was basically in love for like no real reason, but just basically chasing the cat.
Wow, my goodness, what's that?
You guys think that's fair to release him from his duties because he said that? Or would this not be an issue in 2018?
But the issue back then is just that nobody talked about it in the open, like media, put it out there like that. But because he's black, again, they have to prove something. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on them shows that you hear about after the fact. Mm-hmm. Like they knew all that stuff was going on, but what happened? He made it there. He made it to this or he made it to that. And, I don't really watch it, but you just hear stuff that's going on, bits and pieces. This is my first time hearing that, but no, they shouldn't have let him go. because he just made a statement. It's not like he said she was, racist before she did it. He just made a statement. But is that in his contract? That he's not allowed to talk about stuff like that, So
Yeah,
we
you
don't know
never
what's
know.
in his contract. Maybe he breached his contract.
Absolutely.
Now,
Who knows with that?
that question, was this Matt James the Bachelor that was, being scrutinized, or was this the actual host, the person that actually hosts the Bachelor? Yeah, okay. Right.
Football player, Emmanuel, is it Acho, H-O? A-C-H-O.
Ocho, Ocho.
Yeah, Ocho.
Okay.
He's going to be the temporary host. He's written this book called A Conversation with the Black Man. Have you heard of that? It's a New York Times bestseller.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
Okay.
black host.
Um, Actually, I'm looking at a updated where for the Bachelorette, moving forward, he was going to be replaced by former contestants Tyshia Adams and Caitlin Bristow for the Bachelor. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me actually look that up to make sure.
The white host had this conversation with the young lady,
Mm-hmm.
just speaking, and they let him go,
Mm-hmm.
and now they put a black person in there
Yeah, for this one episode. And then
for
I
that
think
one.
the new host for like the next season of The Bachelor will be
Mhm.
two women.
Uh,
Okay. Is that like an uproar? Is that a bad thing?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. They just didn't like him to say it.
I mean, it's
Say out with the old, in with the new. It gets wilder and wilder here, guys. I don't know. I don't know. What were you thinking, Lord G? What do you think? Chris.
Story. This is terrible. This is a really short story though. I was listening to the news the other day, and I caught the tail end of it, and I just want to know if any of you have heard of this about an FBI uncovered a police gang, a gang within the Compton Police Department, their sheriff's department in the city of Compton, had a police gang called the Executioners.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've heard of that.
To and arrested and tried, put people in jail and framed them for crimes. That was a part of the initiation to get into this game.
Yes, I have heard of this gang. They were there. They're the executioners. They had to have a tattoo, I believe, of a skull with like a torn American flag on their right arm. I believe it's on the right or left arm. I don't know, whatever the case. It's been a well-known thing that basically they usually get a like tally done for like each time they actually either book an African American, or if they kill an African American, or a just straight up minority in general. They actually get a tally somewhere on their body. that
Chris.
to basically
Yeah.
yes, to basically have a quote unquote body count. Definitely not exactly new. I've been hearing about it for a while now.
And has enough evidence to bring these people, to bring charges up against several members of this organization?
Right.
Yes, correct. Let me actually look up the actual article itself. Compton Police Gang.
You're persecuting people of your same ethnicity, your same race, right? If we assume that this, that the individuals are Latinx, because the surnames are.
Yeah, that's probably some kind of code they
Let's see.
in. It don't matter what color
I was
you
really
are.
sad to hear that.
When you got these suits on,
Let's see.
who you are don't matter. You blue.
Exactly, right? I heard that in a movie.
What's that?
You're not black, you're not white, you're blue.
Yeah. Cause
Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Debated
a sheriff or a cop or something
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes. He was a cop in Louisiana. Yes. Yes. He left a addendum to actually try to expose the fact of the racism that's been happening within that police force, and for a call of change and of mental health that needs to be addressed within the police force, because if you're in the police force, you're always exposed to something new on a daily basis. You're on like multiples of like 5 or 6 jobs in that one day, and like some of them can be completely different than the other compared to the actual normal actual life. So you actually exposed to like different beats, different type of dramatic stress compared to the typical American, to where he's calling for those individuals to actually have a psych evaluation, basically after like every day, to see if these individuals are in the right mental space to actually still be on the job, because these incidents can actually have can actually give cops a PTSD, to where they basically act on a reflex instead of thinking critically about a situation, which could explain some situations, but not all, when it comes to the use of unnecessary force.
Got it. Wow. So Lori, what is happening here? What are the next steps? Are you aware of what's going on with this, with the execution? So I'm just.
I think they're just in the phase of uncovering this and then trying to create accountability through members of this gang. The bigger fallout that I began to think about was, well, what if you were one of these people that they planted the gun on, and you are doing time for something you didn't even do? They blatantly made that up, right? And it ties me back to the conversation we were having about capital punishment. Chris, were you on that show? Where
I
we
think I
were,
remember something like
yeah,
that.
about the death penalty and whether or not we support that, or we felt that was valid.
Right.
And so here you have a systematically corrupt institution, right, that is going to convict people inappropriately, not correct, right?
Right.
And then that person could get life, or even if they don't, the many, many years you can get in prison that were robbed for you for something you didn't do. So I'm sure that we're gonna hear a lot more about this story, as it unfolds.
I mean, definitely, we've been actually seeing that where someone gets a wrongful conviction for something that they didn't do, and then later on in life, they get found innocent, and then they get a actual retrial, and then subsequently released. But it's like how do you actually repay a person for the time that was lost to them? Like for like like the 15, 20 years that that's basically just been taken from them. It's gone. In fact, there's no way to actually get that back. This also reminds me of what happened with Kamala Harris when she was the actual district attorney out here in California, in which her actual office was allowed to be more specific. We talked about this in a past episode when we were talking about when Kamala Harris was actually nominated for vice president. About her actual track record, in which the lab had over 1,000 individuals who had evidence tainted, in which basically they could have actually been innocent, but because of tainted evidence, they were proven guilty.
Wow. I don't know, guys. It's just kind of rough with this. I don't know, Chris. Where are you thinking right now? Where's your head at? I know it's so much information.
I would say it's unbelievable, but it's not unbelievable. It's just the change is happening, and what we already knew, like Lori said earlier, it's being exposed. So it is good that all this stuff is being exposed, but what's going to be the result, the end result, or what are we looking for? You're exposed, so do you just say, oh, I'm sorry, and we say, oh, okay, or do we say, okay, we need to talk about something different now? You're exposed, we knew you were already like that, so now it's time to talk about what's going to be done about it. And we're not talking about going to school or including everybody. We're talking about just for Black people on their own accord. Because it seems like every time Blacks have something or trying to get something, okay, well, we'll do that, but we're going to include everybody else with you. But yet, LGBT gets something on their own. Yeah, they might have fought for it, illegal immigrants, they get something on their own. Everybody has been repaid for something or another, except for Blacks as only Blacks.
Right.
Saying, oh, well, the Blacks got this. They can't say that. They can say, oh, Blacks got this, but everybody else was included with that.
I think for that, basically, it would have to come to a point where we actually have to be unionized and actually be a actual cohesive unit, because there's been too many times where we have an action plan set in motion, but yet we are not together as a people to actually see it completely through.
Right.
Because I honestly believe that because just like the Hispanic people and the Asian people, they actually come together. They actually look out for each other. They help each other out. We as a people and as a culture, we sometimes in fact have that crab in a barrel mentality, but would never truly working with each other, actually helping each other and actually being together, especially when it comes to these issues. There's always going to be a actual division. Now, if we actually, come together, maybe, just maybe, we can actually see these changes that are actually for us happen.
Right.
But we have to actually be on the same page and actually be together,
Right.
and not as individuals. No, as a cohesive unit. Because if we can actually show our actual unity, our solidarity as a whole, we can definitely make changes in this world.
Yes, for sure. I like that, She.
I listen to, that's what they're doing, is bringing knowledge that we're doing this, we're gonna do, the time is actually now.
Yeah.
We have to come together and agree that something will be done. Not gonna be, but something will be done.
Yeah.
Like you said, yes, we have to come together.
We do. We do. We have to come together as people. I think, what's that, Chris? What's that?
How the Asians are trying to say that blacks are like attacking them. Okay, so remember the young guy who, the young boy who attacked the older guy and he ended up dying?
Talking about when a young African American male attacked this older
I don't know that.
an Asian male. I believe it was in I believe it was like downtown LA. It was like Chinatown.
Okay.
And he did not know that the person was Asian because he came up from behind. He had a hat on and a mask and glasses, so he didn't know, but he had mental issues going on. So now the Asian community is out like as if because this happened, now all blacks are against Asians, and I was like, you know what? No. I was like, something's going on. I said, something is really going on for them to, be putting that out there like that. And I saw the interview that she was the daughter of the person, and they were like pleading, and I'm like, what are they talking about? That's just like one incident.
I mean, definitely, that would be a completely isolated incident that actually happened. Though the Asian American culture, they have faced their fair share of problems. While here in America, especially these past this past year because of the coronavirus being called the China virus, and them being called out for something that basically they had nothing to do with. And them being assaulted and ridiculed and actually isolated because of COVID-19, which started actually a year ago. It was like 2 days ago. It was March 11th that this was the anniversary of the actual shutdown, in which they basically were just basically being ridiculed and called out and actually beaten up by just all walks of life, by just people in general, in which they had to actually get help to actually protect themselves.
Right, but I don't think there's very many of that. I think I didn't hear very much like you're saying about black people against, Asians. But I think the media is gonna, in my opinion, hype things up and anything to cause distinction in the black community, Chris. That's just sort of like what I feel, and I think we can't just always believe the hype. We can't just always believe the numbers. We can't just always believe what they tell us because we already know they've been lying to us since its inception. So
Right, they tend to just blow things way out of proportion,
Proportion.
make things bigger than it actually is.
Right.
This was just an isolated incident. Yes, there has been tension between African Americans and Asian Americans in the past. Yes,
Korean Americans, right?
Yeah.
With the whole Latasha Harlan and all of that, just that disrespect we was getting at the SWAT meetings. I'm just putting that out there.
Yes,
Right?
yes, but yes,
The Asian nail shop. You know, see
Right.
yes,
That part,
yes. There has been tension between Korean American, Asian American, and the African American community. Yes, this has happened. This is documented. It's in history.
Fact.
community, those are just incidents that happen. But when it started out with the girl getting killed, then all of a sudden, they're beating up people inside their nail shops and stuff on 2 occasions. And I'm thinking like, well, why is this? And it's like, well, we know when we go to the nail shop, we speak up for what we don't like. If something went wrong when they do my nails and my toes, it's like I'm gonna tell you, oh no, I don't like that, and then they want to get off from that. I've had that happen where I spoke up, because hey, I'm paying you my money. So I think because of the pandemic, they're trying to find a way to get paid back because we stopped patronizing. We're their
Right.
money.
Turn on them, yes. See, because then we learn, I can do my own, like me. I ain't been to the nail salon, my jigs, like you said, right, shit, in a year. And I got my own, meaning like my own nails, Jackie,
Right.
gel nails. I have saved myself hundreds, probably over $1,000 in the last year. I'm not going up in there and giving my dough, player.
Right.
I'm saying that's just the nails, right? She ain't talking about pedicure.
Right, because honestly it's like talking about nail shops, they always because the actual Asian community, they have taken that genre of just of just of the economic spectrum and actually
Yeah.
taking over it. But we always try to push black owned nail shops, but it's like for some reason there always seems to be issues that actually oversee those actual black owned nail shop and businesses. It's very rare to actually find a actual black owned nail shop that hasn't had any issues where the prices are fair and the customer service is just phenomenal. Like when you always go to these Asian owned nail shops because their actually quality is actually good. The prices are fair and the service is actually good. For the most part, you'll have those those actual circumstances, those incidents where they actually line up a little bit too far where they actually in yes
So bad.
where they push too far on the cubicles
Oh my God, right?
and they cause some bleeding. But then they actually have their little quick fix there, right there, I'm ready to go, cause of a
It's crazy.
because of a mistake. but it happens. We're all humans. But then they try to give you a discount afterwards.
After the fact. I don't know, guys. I just think there are just ugly times in my opinion. And some, we got to make the best of it. And I think hopefully here, like Lori and I and everybody here on the show, we are the show, everybody. This is a cool in-house night, you know what I mean? And we always do our best to bring our knowledge and our research and all of our hard work to the show. And
Right, I
so I
think
think
like
we're doing our part. What do you guys think?
yeah, I think we're doing our part because it's like what we all want is just to bring awareness and for people to actually want to actually join together for the betterment of just the community as a whole. Because we want to improve our communities, one step at a time to where we can actually make real progress.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Right.
In the area, I'm focused on blacks.
I mean,
At least for me, community is everyone in my space, I think as I get older, I I see us as humans, right? I see us as, descendants of the Most High God. And for me to, I mean, of course, it's kind of like your family. You care about your immediate family, right? With all your heart, all your soul, and your mind. But I also have to have some awareness of my next door neighbor family if my child is gonna go over there and play with that family, right? So I want good for my family, but I don't wish ill on your family, right? I think if we grow as a community together, that becomes beneficial for all. That's just my perspective.
Right.
Mm,
Makes absolute sense. I don't know, guys.
No,
What do you think?
it's just a way to just, stop hate, amongst, just the community in general, just to actually, bring togetherness. In fact, like, yes, we should focus on our people first, like, to actually, mend the actual brokenness that's within ourselves before we even try to actually focus on others. Like, just try to actually, fix ourselves before we actually try to fix relationships with others.
Somebody else. That's so true. I think so. What about you?
that, of course, the people that you're in your surrounding area, we don't have hate for nobody as blacks in general. We normally are caring for everybody. Look how long, 400 some years, we still walk around and say, okay. They have done our ancestors all the way up to us now. People we know who have been dealing with my own self. You guys probably dealt with something in some type of way, and we're still going through it. And it's like when it stops, when we say it stops. So I say it stops. So I'm looking for collective as blacks as a whole. Everybody else can come after that.
Right.
Family, yes, our family. We do take care of our family. That's automatic that we take care of our family, no matter who it is. If you're my family, you're in my family.
Right.
But then when it comes to everybody out there the blacks that don't have, we have to try to do something.
Yeah.
We have to try to do something because they keep getting ran over, even though, we could be doing good for ourselves, but we have to try to help somebody else that's black that they don't either know or they too scared to say or they think that, they can't do because somebody else won't let them.
Yeah.
Their mindset changed that, but if we're not, we're doing content now to make people aware. So that's the good thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have to, we have to.
Yeah, we have to do it. We're doing our awareness part. We're letting everybody know what we can do. I don't know, guys, but this is my question to you. Just gets better and better. So, you are a parent of a 5-year-old child, and you're sending your child to public school, as per usual, if you would. And you hear a report from your child who's traumatized that their teacher forced them to put their hand in a commode and touch human feces as a form of punishment or correction to this 5-year-old child. Okay, so you're the parent, your 5-year-old. And your 5-year-old child is black, and this teacher that forced your 5-year-old child to do this is white, and you're black, all black. YikesRadio.com. Okay, I don't, nobody's saying nothing, everybody's quiet.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yes, something's
And so,
going on.
see,
Somebody.
And then, when asked, she said she didn't know why, right? We have to pull this up, let's pull up.
Hold on.
Yeah, where she's gonna get the data. No, but for real. Go ahead, Chris, tell us what you know.
When I seen that, literally, I
Hold
had
on, what's the
water
article?
in my eyes, like, I have
Right
nieces and
woman.
nephews that age. My granddaughter is 6, 11, and I'm thinking I got nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews that are that age, and for you to tell this little boy he's damaged. But I think racism, white supremacy, that's what that is. I'm gonna teach him something. How can you be a teacher, an educator? Well, see, that's just it.
Hello,
I know,
what are they
educator, what's
teaching him?
happening?
What did he do, and why was this the sanction?
Right.
She or he had to have some rationale, right?
He went to the restroom and used too much toilet paper, so she made him stick his hand in his own shit and pull that toilet paper out.
Girl, can you believe
Oh,
this?
that's ridiculous.
Read it.
With
You gonna read,
his
want me to
bare
read?
hand.
No.
You want me to do the honors, Rashid? You gonna do the honors? You do the honors?
I mean,
Rashid's gonna do the honors tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and let us know why this, the story behind feces.
An elementary school teacher in North Little Rock, Arkansas, has been accused of having a kindergarten student pull toilet paper out of a clogged toilet with feces in it with his hands. The boy's mother, Ashley Murray, said on Tuesday that her 5-year-old told her about the incident over the weekend. His teacher at Crystal Hill Elementary School reportedly told him to clean up the toilet with his hands because he had used too much toilet paper. Murray said she was shocked when he told her, and it would obviously bother her son. This is unacceptable. Murray spoke with the principal on Monday and had her son moved to a different class. She said the teacher has apologized, but Murray said she wants more than an apology. I feel like she needs to be trained, suspended, or terminated or something because that's unacceptable. I want my son to be in a safe environment, a good environment. Pulaski County Special School District said in a statement Tuesday that it is actively investigating and the teacher has been placed on administrative leave. Employees across the district work hard every day to create an environment where students feel safe and protected. The boy's grandmother, Tammy Murray, said in a Facebook post that the teacher did it to degrade and belittle him, either because he is black or she didn't like him. I don't know if it's racism or pure dislike for him, but something isn't right. And PSA, this is what Tammy Murray said. I have been struggling with this since yesterday. As I was on my way to a meeting, I got a phone call. It was my middle daughter. Mother, I have something to tell you, and you are going to get very upset. I said, okay, tell me. She said, Ashton, my grandson's teacher made him put his hand in the commode and clean out his feces and tissue because he stopped up the commode. I said, what? I told her, let me get off the phone. I had arrived at my destination. Oh my God.
What? Look at this.
Yeah.
She's got a lot to say, guys. But I mean, at the end of the day, what are you gonna do, guys? Now we're in the studio. Rashid, your baby calls you Lori. Lori G, I need to know. Gabriel, you find out this happens to Gabriel.
Watch your head, Miss Fisher, is what's gonna happen, because they're gonna have to call the police to get me off of
And please don't call me. Please don't call me and Chris to tell. Chris, please don't call us out there, Chris.
Oh no, give me the address.
In the way, whoever he or she is, they better watch out. Because you know what?
It's a
You're going
wrap.
to feel the wrath.
It's a wrap. I don't even know how to process it. I would just go, right? Just off
It
the
would
break.
just come to the point of, okay, what is this teacher's address? I will find it myself.
Exactly.
I will catch you outside in
Exactly.
these streets. You gonna catch these hands in these
You gonna catch these hands?
So there's no ambiguity, it's you, right here.
I mean,
Is this a form of racism? Is this just what is this? Classism? What ism is this?
mean the teacher is on administrative leave, so he's
With or without pay? I need to know.
without pay.
Without pay?
Yeah, without
You
pay.
promise?
I promise.
Okay, because I was asking Miko. Miko didn't know.
Period.
Yeah.
There is,
Need to
this
be
is,
fired.
to me, it's beyond racism. This is child abuse. That's
Yes.
what this is.
Child
This
abuse.
is a,
That is child abuse. It is. I'm gonna put that in the notes. Because that's traumatizing. That's traumatizing. Could you imagine? I have to kill that bitch.
if this was a parent who disciplined their child by making them touch feces, that child would be removed by social services. So to
Yes.
put this person on administrative leave without
Right.
charges and without a complete firing is harboring and promoting child abuse.
That's what Chucky said. Chucky says in our Facebook feed, he was just saying, you know what I mean, that she would never work again. You know what I mean? You'd have to get her. You have to get her. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? Hunt Eric for it. Chucky did. They like, nah, ain't nobody having that. That's whoa, Chris. Well, I know, Chris, you was very, very upset about this. So, Chris, when you heard those headlines, where did you go? I mean, like, what was your thought process? You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what is this?
She gonna
for
have to
real?
catch a body. She gonna have to catch a body.
It's my grandbaby,
Aw.
and I sent her a couple of paragraphs and tell her, I'm not playing.
Right.
I told
Is
her,
that
you can
her?
talk to your mom, you can talk to your dad.
Girl, is
I
that
said,
her?
But
Russian?
you will,
I
and I laid all everything out.
This is her.
If this happened, this happened, this happened. I
Girl,
said, and when they say you go back to school, believe me, I'm showing up. Because we, not just
look at her.
looking out.
You
for
see her, Lola?
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Girl. Look at this one right here, y'all. That is, am I so not even surprised? What'd you say, Monique? My Monique said she would not be even able to work when I got done with her. Man, I would like to try to, I would hope I didn't see red or black when I heard the story. I would hope that my diabolical side could kick in. I'd have enough to not react and then just plan out some shit for this female, you know, just
I don't know if I
some
would.
medieval shit.
I would freaking
Like,
take her to a
Freaky
basement.
Jason shit.
Oh no, I'm taking her to a basement, chained up.
You and your Michael Myers.
We breaking fingers, one by one,
I cannot.
One by
I
one.
cannot. Oh.
and we getting the pliers,
I know.
the pliers for the nails.
Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Just look at her. Don't look at her. Yeah, child abuse. Okay, child abuse case. I just cannot.
Carla Laster.
Yeah, I would say in court, and that's my punishment for the assault. Yeah.
You
So,
Lord.
Hey, someone gonna pull up a GoFundMe to actually bail you out.
Look, Rashid and I will be the administrators of the GoFundMe account.
You know, what we've been doing is calling that school, she needs to be fired, calling that city where they are,
Little
that district attorney, child
Yeah.
abuse.
Arkansas.
That's exactly what we've been pushing for, child abuse, you know, and it's just not right. Other black children that have been going through stuff with
Yep,
police is
North
just
Little Rock.
don't make no sense. They have this line called anti-black
Crystal Hill
activity database.org, where
Yep.
if you see
Yep, the
something, you
school
can put
is
it in
called
there, they
Crystal
have some
Hill
stuff in there,
Elementary.
but, and because we're here, because all this stuff is like, you know, other states down south, I said, you know what, if I could just tell somebody, when they start opening these schools up, we need to show up hard, you know, letting these people know that every black child here got somebody in back of them, you
Wait,
know,
hold on.
whether you're my child or not, but I'm here and your
So I got
child is my
comment.
child.
So
You
I got
know,
comment.
and I understand that there's all children there, but black children are the ones that I see, what I see is happening too.
Just pop her in the head.
So, and I told my grandbabies, whenever they open them schools back and y'all have to go back to
Oh,
school, I'm gonna be there the first day.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna
Multi-time.
pop up whenever I want to, you
Yes,
know,
yeah.
and that's what we
Make
have
her
to
look
start
like a
doing
crackhead.
is popping up to these schools, letting them know,
These are
not broken homes. It's because it's one parent in the house, that don't mean nothing.
Full makeover.
Like Rashid said, a community, you know, a community that raises their children together.
Wow.
You know, what's that saying? It takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Yes.
Grace.
That's what's happening. They think the village is broken up, and the village is not broke. with this kind of stuff going on, I just can't see it.
So that is in Little Rock, Arkansas, I think, right? Chris, that's in Arkansas.
Yes.
So,
The easy accessibility of the internet
technology.
and of cell phones and of capturing of information and Facebook and social medias, but, you know, it's rough down south. It's definitely rough down here.
Yes,
And
I remember.
Shielded a bit because we're on a liberal coast, you know, California is such a blue state, but, there's probably some even crazier stuff than this going on. But I agree with you that it takes a village. That's how I raised my kids. That's how Jackie raised her kids, you know? I'm down at the school
Right.
any day, and I'm not making a reservation. You know, I'm gonna go get my fingerprinting and do my background check the first day of school. So that I'm clear to be able to walk this campus whenever I show up. There's no hurdle or balance there. And I think the call for our community has to be, and it's not, you know, I think children, no matter what color you are, children are the most vulnerable little people ever, right? Because they don't have a voice. They don't have a voice unless we provide one for them. And people do all kinds of things to children. That's terrible.
It's horrible.
Yep, and because
Matt. And the best they could do was administrative leave.
Well, yeah.
yeah,
I guess, you know, with school districts and you got unions and you see what I'm saying, at least she's, I just wanted to know was it leaves with or without pay? Cause that does make a massive difference in my opinion. You know, administrative leave with pay, it's like, oh, you're on vacation. Versus administrative leave without pay, it's like, oh, you gonna feel that.
I mean that sounds like with these police officers with like George Floyd, with the Ahmaud Arbery, with the Breonna Taylor, all these officers being put on administrative leave without actually receiving actual punishment.
Right.
I know with the George Floyd, they just reopened the actual
Third degree murder.
Yes, they just reopened that. And I think they actually got a settlement for like 20 mil, I believe. But now they have to go through the struggle of finding a jury, a panel of jurors who are going to be unbiased, which good luck with that.
I know. I just, and that, even with that, you don't wanna like, I mean, with the Rodney King history for me, I don't wanna go into this thinking like, oh yeah, justice is gonna be served. Cause I totally thought that before, and it totally came back and bit me in the butt.
Well,
And it's sad that I have to hold on to my butt and not feel like justice is gonna be served, because if justice is gonna be served, then we would know, like, oh well, yeah, it's gonna happen. But we
Right.
can't bank on that, guys.
Right, but that also, would go back to the days of, because it's like, the justice system, let's be brutally honest, the justice system was never really, in our favor to begin with. It was never in the African American favor, because we've been charged with like petty crimes. And yet someone that charges that gets charged for like the same crime, they get less time compared to us. We almost get life for basically an ounce of just marijuana back in the day. Nowadays, you can actually have legal marijuana.
In Cali, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys, that's just,
Broom says that teacher would be touching poop in her mouth if that was her child.
pow, right in the kisser.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God.
Like, please don't hold back.
Now, would that be fresh or would that be, gathered?
I know, right? That's really horrible, guys. I don't know. I just think that's
Ugh.
something. I don't even know, like you said again, I mean, what do you even do with that?
I think like Chris said, we keep going, you know, and we just write letters and we send things to their Congress and to the school board and to the Senate, and you don't give up, and you just be
Right,
persevering.
right, we do things the right way, but when the right way don't work, we go the street way. We serve street justice.
Vigilante justice. We did a show on it. We got to do another show, guys. Vigilante justice. I kind of can dig it, but.
So did you have a topic you wanted to put on the table, to talk about with?
So that was the one I was talking about the little boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the awareness was just about, because he's not the only one, because they've had, you know, back down there south, a couple of children, you know, in school where these police, like the little girl who 9 years old, gets sprayed, she's handcuffed in the back of the car and gets pepper sprayed by a police, you know, and there's another one I can remember one that happened in 2015, remember? And the cop in the school cop, the little girl sitting in her chair and she wouldn't leave the class. He went and
slammed her to the ground.
Slammed her down.
Ground. That,
Oh yeah, when she was causing a disturbance in the class, and then basically with the unnecessary force, the obviously bigger male cop, you know, basically slammed her into some desk and then slammed her onto the floor.
I remember that.
And basically dragged her out.
handcuffed and gets pepper sprayed, you know, and it's like, what in the world is going on because of some disturbance at home, you know, so then that just makes you wonder, like.
I actually have the video.
We're gonna watch we're gonna watch the video, guys. All right, turn around, Facebook viewers.
No, of the pepper spray. I can probably find the video of the slamming.
Oh my God, am I ready for this?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay, I'm gonna be ready. Check it out, guys.
Before she was pepper sprayed, the officer returned to the home and confronted the mother. The mother was apologetic.
What are you doing? You concerned about your daughter running down the street, suicidal, homicidal, and you're gonna start a fight with people in a van? I don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna hear it. I gotta run after your daughter. I gotta fight your daughter, and you're busy fighting with somebody in a van. What the heck's wrong with you? You apologize? No, I gotta do paperwork why I put down a 9-year-old girl to the ground.
This video is not about the mom. This is about the police using violence against a 9-year-old black girl. That's what this is about.
Elliot Shields is the new lawyer for the girl's mother. He's also one of the lawyers for the family of Daniel Prude, who died after he stopped breathing in Rochester police custody last year.
They wouldn't do this to a little white kid. They wouldn't do this to any of their own children. I'll tell you right now, if any teacher did that in a public school, they'd be fired and they'd be sued.
I want to take you straight to the moment the 9-year-old girl was pepper sprayed. This is the body camera video of the female officer who is face to face with the girl.
Okay. Come on. Come on. I will get your dad, all right? We're gonna pepper spray me now.
Oh no.
I got a bad arm. No. Bad arm. Travis, will you pick it up for me? I don't care. I didn't touch your wrist.
Okay. Oh no.
RPD suspended one officer and 2 are on administrative
I
duty.
need a drink. I need something. That is somebody's baby, ladies and gentlemen. You hear what I'm saying to you people? Lord G, look at, I can't. See, I don't know. I know, Chucky.
Isn't she in handcuffs in the car?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think
Correct.
they must get some kind of sick thrill. If you understand, I say sick, but they like violence, they like hurting and just destruction and something wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? What? Why you gotta hurt? You know, it's a baby. Pick up somebody your own size. You understand what I'm saying? Dehumanize it. Man, you don't do that to somebody, but you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They come with the bullet, with the stuff.
Yes.
Like, what did the baby even do? Right.
Yeah, so basically, from what they're saying is that basically her feet were actually not in the car. She wasn't getting in the car. She was quote unquote being uncooperative.
Okay.
And so they basically pepper sprayed her in order to actually get her into the back of the squad car. Kind of a messed up way to do that.
Yeah. They could. I don't know. Right.
Okay, so I have another video, which this was the cop body slamming a teen girl. There was one, and this happened, I believe, 4 years ago. There was actually one that's more recent, actually. I'll go to that one later, but for right now, I'll show this one. This is courtesy of a CBS this morning.
Okay.
The school police officer body slamming a female high school student has triggered outrage in a North Carolina community. Cell phone video shows Rollsville police officer Ruben De Los Santos yesterday picking up the 15-year-old and throwing her to the ground.
That baby girl ain't there. Look how little she is.
Two other female students
Oh!
at high school near Raleigh. Vladimir Dutier of our streaming network CBSN shows us
That
the
baby
follow-up.
is
Vlad, good morning.
dazed.
Good morning.
Oh boy.
Okay, see, I don't understand. She's so tiny. Not that that would matter, but she's fragile.
She's literally like literally 80 pounds
I
soaking
know.
wet.
Lord G, you must not have seen that. Did you see that, Lori? I know, but so what do we do?
Okay, and I have another one for you. You know, I think this is one of those. So embrace yourselves.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Yesterday at Liberty High School, News 6's Mark Lehman's been following the latest on this story and joins us live with more on what he's learned from the sheriff. Mark?
Yeah, the main point the sheriff wanted to get across is that his office has zero tolerance for any use of excessive force, and because of that, he's now ordering a state criminal investigation into the conduct of one of his deputies, something coming after video of yesterday's encounter surfaced online, which some may find disturbing. Now, in the short clip, it shows Deputy Ethan Fournier slamming a female student onto the concrete at Liberty High School. The 10-year deputy is then seen placing the girl in handcuffs as she remains motionless on the ground. All of this happening as another deputy stands close by. Well, today, Sheriff Marcos Lopez addressed the encounter, saying it happened after the teen was trying to fight another student in the hallway. Regardless of the situation, though, Lopez says there needs to be transparency to determine if Deputy Fournier's actions were excessive. For that reason, the investigation is now being handed over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
They need to go to the feds with
They're
this
going to
shit.
conduct a criminal investigation. They're the ones that are going to review any type of evidence or any type of videos that are out there. We want to make sure it's a complete, thorough investigation without my influence in this case.
I got goosebumps. My God, look at my arms. So why you gotta body slam some damn body? That's crazy. I don't know. Well, well, he's gonna do that, Chris. You know what I'm saying? He's gotta, hold on, let's see. Who is this, Rashid? don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We just gotta keep.
Or the black media that I look at who are back in that area, they are doing stuff. You know, they are like, not just protesting, but calling, calling schools, calling, you know, whoever the governor or secretary or whoever in that, the school board, whatever, calling them, sending letters, sending emails, even me out here, doing that out here for them out there, you know, but it's like, okay, well, I'm here, so what can I do here? You know, and I figure, make ourselves be known to these schools when our children go. We have
Well, I
to.
think we also too have to hold accountable the school boards, right?
Yeah.
Those are elected officials that hold those positions. I think we have to establish a level of accountability for the superintendents of these schools
Right.
that allow and tolerate this type of behavior. You know, there needs to be a zero tolerance
I
for
don't know.
these types of incidents.
And I think there should be immediate, I mean, well, I know they gotta do this investigation thing, cause they're gonna say, oh, the footage could have been, you know, manipulated, or this, that, and the third, but I think it just need to be just swift and certain execution. I know, I'm pretty dramatic, but, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There need to be like a blanket blueprint, boom, boom, equals that.
Right,
And
this
the
is
feds need
just,
to come in.
just basically, just based on, you know, what we've seen, it should be a straight up easy verdict of straight up what needs to happen.
Right.
That person needs to, one, lose their job,
Mm-hmm.
two, you know, pay a fine to the family for,
Yeah.
one, for just, medical costs, and for, you know, and for mental damages that have been done to that child.
And
All over.
that's
You say
what I'm
whatever?
saying, that's what I'm talking about, Chris. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
easy, during the investigations. I don't
Here's
know.
how kids fight at school.
I don't know, I just, it's still not right, it was Toronto time of black police in our.
Right, and it's like, you know, I mean, I get it, because it's like, yes, you know, kids fight at school, and it's sometimes, you know, those fights can actually turn deadly.
That's true.
And, you know, fatal. So, you know, certain schools actually have those officers there to actually, break those up, to actually, you know, stop, you know, any further violence from happening on the school grounds, because if it happens on school grounds, then that school district is actually responsible for what happens. Now, I think the main issue that's been happening here is that these officers, okay, how do I say this? They basically taken their jobs too far. They're basically doing their job, but they're doing it to an extreme. Instead of preventing harm, they end up causing harm in the process.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, Rashid, I don't know. I just don't think that any time, you know, you should be manhandling a child. I don't know, I mean, I don't know, unless it's violence against an officer, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying there's all different circumstances, but this isn't violence against the officer.
I mean, he picked up a 40-pound girl and slammed her on the floor.
On the ground.
The second clip, she definitely was like, you know, 120.
I know, that's a little thin child. Somebody's child. That's the thing I keep saying. Somebody's baby. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, that just wouldn't go over well with me, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't know what we got to do here. This world we are in.
But the parents, they are, you know, calling for actual justice. More than likely, you know, just like, you know, the actual status, you know, protocol, that officer has been put on administrative leave. While they do the investigation.
I know, I don't know.
I don't
about
know the
them.
details, but I'm going to assume without pay.
Right.
Again,
Yeah.
that's an assumption, you know.
Uh-oh. At least we know that. Do the research. It's horrible, but you guys, we just can't go down to the ground. On the get down, we go out. You guys, we got 15 more minutes here tonight on the Poetry Justice Show. I know. You want to lighten the mood a little bit, Mrs. Fishers? What do you guys think, Mr. Phillips? Or do we want to just keep on the mellow tone? What's the program?
Body slam the office.
Nana's catching a case. The feds are coming.
News, and Rashid, this might be of interest to you. Did you guys hear the artist The Weeknd is boycotting the Grammys?
Yes,
wow.
I actually. Oh my God, I just talked about this earlier. I had just talked about this earlier. So, yes, The Weeknd, he's basically going to be pulling himself out of the actual Grammy Awards. He will not be attending, neither will he be performing at the Grammys. Let me actually get the get the actual news article, because I know there was some outrage for Justin Bieber talking about, you know, how he's not in any of the R&B category, saying that his latest album was R&B, talking about he's classified in pop. I'm like, bro, like all your music has been pop. Now,
And his latest song went triple platinum.
Oh, okay.
Some artist that isn't nominated, period, at the Grammy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Voters for the Grammys. Did you hear that?
I haven't heard that, but let me give you some information on.
Chris, you says nothing shocks you.
Okay, so for The Weeknd, the event on Sunday will address the challenge of the music industry hit hard by the pandemic. The Weeknd, who was snubbed, says he will boycott the awards going forward in a sign of continuing friction with artists. When music fans tune in to the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards on Sunday night with Trevor Noah as host and performances by nearly 24 stars, including Taylor Swift, Cardi B, Dua Lipa, and BTS. They will see the music world coming together in celebration and friendly competition after a grueling year. Beyonce, who has 9 nominations, will be aiming for her first win in the major category since 2010, while Swift has 5 nominations connected to Folklore, an album made entirely in quarantine. The show will also address the pandemic's painful impact on music with an extended in memoriam segment and a spotlight on the independent venues that represent music history, but which have suffered devastating blows after a year of lost business. But behind the scenes, the industry is waging war for the soul of the Grammys after years of accusations of bias against women and black artists and complaints over an opaque voting system that critics say is unfair and out of touch. Every year there are winners and losers, but this year's biggest controversy highlights the way names get on the ballot in the first place, and involves The Weeknd, the Canadian pop star whose sleek, high-concept earthworms like Blinding Light have broken chart records and drawn wide critical acclaim. Last month, he also played the Super Bowl halftime show, perhaps pop music's biggest big hit moment. Yet, when it came time for Grammy nominations, The Weeknd got nothing. Wide scrutiny has zeroed in on a little understood part of the Grammy process, the role of anonymous expert committees which review initial nomination choices by the thousands of music professionals who make up the voting membership of the Recording Academy, the nonprofit group behind the awards, and for 61 of the Grammys, 84 categories have the final say about who makes a cut. To the Grammy leadership, the committees are a check and balance step to preserve the integrity of the award. Through suspicious artists, they are unaccountable star chambers that can subvert the will of the voters. For the weekend, the entire process has proved unacceptable. In a statement to New York Times, he said he will boycott the awards from now on because of the secret committees. I will no longer allow my label to submit my music to the Grammys.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
like, yep.
Wow.
They also got money and create their
His
own
own
brand.
label, yeah. Ha, 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 ha.
You know,
What do
you know
you guys,
about-
what do you guys think about the situation with Ice Cube and Warner Brothers and him wanting to do? You heard about that?
You want to do another Friday?
Yeah, and Warner Brothers is no. Report says he wants to do it, but they're not giving him the rights to it. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I don't think they're giving him the rights, and plus with the passing of Debo, Tiny, it would be only appropriate. But yeah, The Weeknd joins the list of black stars: Drake, Kanye West, and Frank Ocean, whose public rebuke of the Grammys are a threat to the institution that views itself as a supportive house for the entire music community. Meanwhile, at the Grammys, they'll have Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Megan Thee Stallion, Post Malone, Roddy Ricch, Coldplay, Ham, and Janae Aiko.
That looks like it's going to be a really good lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I haven't watched in eons. I don't know.
Time, it's just, I don't know.
I'm so at the game.
Before it went off, we was like, that's it.
I know, but there's a new era, right? A new era that we have to. We don't have to,
I
that
need
we,
to
you know.
give The Weeknd his credit. And like these artists, need to give artists the actual credits. And it just seems like it's always the Grammys, because here's the thing. Out of all of the award shows, because you got the VMAs, you got the BETs, you got all these award shows, but the Grammys are always the ones that actually stand on top. Those are the ones that's like, you are known for it. Right? Like, if you have been nominated for a Grammy, you have made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, you just laugh at it, huh? Wow, I know.
Top of the white list.
I think they need to start thinking a little bit more like Samuel L. Jackson when he just realized, F-U-C-K them with regard to an Oscar. I don't really give a, you know what, I know I'm good. I know I'm a good actor. I don't really need that validation. But would it be good to have it, or is it just, I don't know, Laura, I see a little bit of a look on your face. What are you thinking here?
Well, it's hard because I see both sides of that fence, right?
Yeah.
Is that, okay, do I really need this external validation? No, my music is good and the people support that music, right?
Right.
But the other side of that too is that, as you say, Chris, this white establishment is the establishment that funds projects, right? That allows you to earn your label or your brand to earn a certain amount of money or income. So I just don't know, but I do commend The Weeknd for taking that bold step. It reminds me of Prince. Remember when he took that step and said, slave was who he was, and he became a symbol.
That's what made me think about. That's what made me think about Ice Cube in Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because of that, but like you said, Lloyd, with Prince, which is what made me think about Ice Cube. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up on TMZ. So somebody else speak about something real quick while I do my research. So, Lloyd, you go. Oh yeah, when he made his. He did. Where is the search? Here's my search.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, we got it. Over the weekend, Ice Cube took to Instagram and alleged that Warner Brothers will no longer be continuing the Friday film franchise. And that's hashtag Free Friday from the jaws of Warner Brothers, who refuses to make more sequels. He wrote alongside a cartoon of the film's cast. They have hijacked the happiness of the culture. Friday marked Ice Cube's screenwriting debut, as you all know, back in 1995, and followed the story of Craig, played by Ice Cube, Smokey, played by Chris Tucker, so on and so forth. But the rapper's post on Instagram recently falls under a series of teases made over the last decade regarding follow-ups of the 1995 Friday and its two subsequent films, Next Friday, released in 2000, and Friday After Next in 2002. So they're not gonna give it up. Warner Brothers is like, no, I'm not giving it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes on, the article does go into, it does, that's what I said, it reminds me of the Prince story. You see what I'm saying? So they're not. And like, Chris, it just goes back to what you're saying, these people hold the power. And then it also took me back to perhaps maybe Ice Cube's position with 45. You know what I'm saying? Could that be a reason? Or is it just, again, the power struggle? Is it just the plantation party, if you will, Chris? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, in fact, also the actual passing of John Witherspoon, kind of may have, it could play a part in that sense. He was an actual prominent figure. He was, well, in fact,
What you mean, my shit?
I mean, John Witherspoon, he was an actual prominent figure in the Friday films as Craig's dad.
So is that a reason to do it for Warner Brothers to promote, to allow it, or to not? Because these people have deceased?
I mean,
Tiny, Big Worm's gone, Daddy's gone, not Big Worm, forgive me. Debo's gone, and Dad's gone.
Right, and it's like, it would be, I see it as a way to actually impact the actual writing of the script, because, but at the same time, it's like, if you're a script writer, you can easily write around, how, I'm a such and such,
Right.
I'm gonna pass away.
I see your viewpoint. I mean, because you could also do like a back and forth in time, I don't know.
Right.
But it ain't happening right now, guys. That's what I want you to know. What'd you think?
Good.
Wow. Like, don't even get it twisted, player. You still got your foot on the neck. So. I guess the knowing of the place.
We are the WB, and you're not making us the WB money, so I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah.
But that money
You
was the
can
fun.
move it, Lord. You got to move it. Chris. What you said, Chris, is so true. I don't know, guys. I've had a good time here on the Poetry of Justice show on Yikes Radio and Accelerated. What about you, Rashid? Did you have a good night tonight?
Yeah, definitely had a great night. It's actually pretty fun.
I know, right? Just
have
us,
that
just kind of
discussion.
chilling, right?
Yeah.
I know. See, Lori, it worked out as always, Issy. And special always to you, Chris. God bless you and thank you. Chris, you've been rolling with us the whole time, sissy. So it's just what we do, ladies. Saturday nights is just what we do. We've had it big, small, good, tall. We've had it all, y'all, here on Yikes Radio, here at Accelerated. This is definitely a good place, Miss Sissy, someplace called home on Saturday nights for 2 hours. Next week are the amazing ladies of the chat, Rashid. Can you believe it? They're coming back.
Oh man, it's already the third week.
It's already the third week coming up, guys. Yikes! And then I've got a big surprise coming for us at the end of the month. We've got the real facts coming on the show, but I'm going to start working on our ads this week, guys. So, and Chris and everybody. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some more powerful shows, as we always do here on the Poetry of Justice show. Lord, you have an outro for us tonight? Beautiful. All right. Wow. Well, have a funky good time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all your help and time and dedication to the show. Thank you so much, Rashid. Y'all ready? Y'all home? Y'all ready? Let's do it, guys. You're ready to go. Have a good night. Bless you guys. Let's do it. Good night. Thank you, Facebook. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for always hanging out and rolling with us here on the Poetry of Justice show. I just have a good time, and I thank you guys for taking the time to have a good time with me and Rashid. Say good night, Rashid.
Good night.
We gotta go, guys. I appreciate you. We'll be back next week with the ladies of the chat, and we may even have an in-studio guest. So hang in there with us. There's a pandemic.
We're here.
Lightens
I'll
up.
go ahead and
Okay.
go to my left.
See you later.
My co-host
Bye.
and my cousin, whom I love so much. Go ahead and introduce himself.
That's so nice. She goes, so she get to get her rerun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then she's excited. I would be excited if I was her.
Yep.
Pioneers Clothing.
It's called True Pioneers. You can look us up. Just type in Pioneers or True Pioneers.
No, I wonder if she was nervous. She probably was. I started to my face and work there. I was like, she's probably nervous.
Yeah.
Excited. Probably, hi, guys, we're leaving. See ya.
A whole lot.